Hi, I deleted social media for 1 week. On the topic of screen time, that's 1,456 wasted in a year. Wow, that's a lot. I'm like kind of embarrassed. Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. Thank you guys so much for joining today. As you can tell from the title, I went 1 whole week without social media. I love the internet and social media, and as with everything, there's always good and bad that comes with it. Sometimes we end up getting so wrapped up with social media that it becomes a daily activity that's just ingrained in our routine. Last week was Thanksgiving, so I wanted to take the entire week off as a break from social media to remind myself of things that I am genuinely happy for. And this is the first time that I have ever done this. I have never taken a social media break ever. And I'm here to give you an update of what exactly happened. So tell me if this sounds like you. Wake up in the morning, I go on social media for a good 30 minutes at minimum. On top of that, constantly checking social media almost every hour. I know a lot of us are on the same boat where social media kind of controls us, where we're not intentionally going on social media, but we almost have to out of habit of doing so. I made a list of expectations that I thought would happen when I got off of social media, and the first one on the list is that I would be more productive. So instead of wasting my time on things on social media, I would instead use that time in things that are more useful for myself and less so for others. 2 was the goal that I would be more present and more in the moment, and I do think I did that pretty well. My 3rd expectation was that I would be less materialistic. And I think Instagram has a lot more to do with that, not only from the promotion, but the very skewed perception that we have of people, or the skewed perception that I portray on social media as well. So I wanted to take a step back from that. I also wanted to say thank you so much for anyone who sent me a personal direct message. I even got an email that was really sweet and heartfelt, so thank you so much for that. I just wanted to say that it was definitely noticed. I didn't mean to intentionally ignore anyone during this time. Now, on the topic of screen time, if you're a real one, comment your screen time below, and no shame whatsoever. Have you ever taken a break from social media before? If so, what app was most difficult for you to stay away from? For me, it was definitely Twitter. So, my usual screen time. Oh my god. So for the week prior to my social media detox, for the week I spent 26 hours and I had a daily average of 3 hours and 49 minutes. So I'll average that out to basically I spent like 4 hours a day on social media. Wow, that's a lot. I'm like kind of embarrassed. So if we're gonna calculate that, so 4 hours on social media a day times 7 days, that's 28 hours. That's 1,456 wasted in a year on social media on screen time that I could get back. To be fair, I also spend a lot of social media time on my desktop, not just necessarily on my phone, and that's not really added in here. Now I'm actually going to check out my screen time since I took the social media break. Through my detox week, I spent an average of 2 hours and 15 minutes per day for a total of 15 hours last week, which I think is pretty good. These were my rules for my break for social media. 1 was no social media for the entire week. 2 was no announcement of any sort that I was leaving social media. And 3rd was the exception that I could still use YouTube and Spotify. YouTube, I would say, me personally, I use YouTube probably like 70% of the time for educational purposes, and the other 30% is for entertainment. Spotify, oh my gosh. Okay, YouTube was the exception, but also Spotify. Like, if I did not have Spotify, I would have gone crazy. I posted on Twitter last week as well, asking for a few podcast suggestions, and I did check a couple of those out. Once I listen to a few more episodes, I'll definitely have some recommendations for that. But seriously, podcasts are a really great way to get not only news updates, but a lot of self-help advice. It's like having a personal life coach in your ear. So how was this week? What's kind of the feedback that I got from it? Well, the first thing was social interaction. I actually held Thanksgiving at my apartment this year, which is pretty crazy considering I don't even have a kitchen table. Essentially what we ended up doing was setting up the counter as kind of like a buffet style with all the food that was available. And my mom brought like these little mini tables so that we could all sit on the couch and eat that way. And we also played card games like Uno and this other game called New Phone Who This, which is kind of like Cards Against Humanity. But it was really fun and a social time. To be honest, I didn't even capture a single picture from the day because I was like, well, I'm not gonna post it anywhere anyway. Another thing was, without social media, not gonna lie, I was pretty bored. I found myself being bored pretty often and spent a lot of time just with myself. On the concept of being present and also living in the moment, I've recently started doing meditation that week. Pretty much I'm an overthinker and I have like 500 million thoughts that go through my head every single day. And meditation is also a practice that helps you be more present in the moment. Social media, I've realized, also has a big influence on the things that I think about and does have a huge influence on how I perceive myself, how I perceive other people. In particular, I found this really cool video which is just really soothing sounds and an excerpt of J. Cole actually speaking on the topic of social media. I'm gonna put it in the description below because I think it was a really great excerpt. It was really eye-opening and I just wanted to share that with you. Me personally, I usually play like a 5 to 10 minute meditation video on calming anxiety or racing thoughts. And I'm here at the end of the week here to give you a little update on how it went and to also let you know the changes that I'm going to make going forward. Using social media can be a really great asset, but as much as it can be helpful, it's good to take a step back and remind myself that it's helpful, but it's not necessary. I don't need to post a photo of every single thing that I do. It has helped me to set boundaries between the things that are more personal, things that I should keep just to myself. And that's a really clear distinction that I need to make for myself. I don't need to seek so much outsource of validation. That should come more so from myself and not from anyone else around me. And that was my challenge for the week. I really hope that you guys enjoyed it. I highly recommend you guys do the same, even if it's just taking out the one app that you use the most throughout the week and cutting that time down. And moving forward, I am going to attempt to keep my screen time below 3 hours daily. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I'll catch you in the next one.